The Council's demand. The Galactic Council chamber stretched impossibly high, its crystalline walls reflecting the light of 1,000 stars. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the center of the circular platform, her back straight despite the crushing gravity designed to humble lesser species. Around her, representatives from the 7 ruling races of the galaxy watched with eyes that had never known defeat. The Zarathi Primarch's voice resonated through the chamber, like grinding stone. Humanity will surrender its quantum drive technology to the Council. This is not a negotiation. Sarah's fingers tightened imperceptibly around the data pad in her hand. 3 years. 3 years since humanity had achieved faster-than-light travel and attracted the Council's attention. 3 years of careful diplomacy, while Earth's colonies spread across 17 systems. Now, the mask was falling. The Council has protected galactic peace for 10,000 years, continued the Primarch, his forearms spreading in a gesture of false benevolence. Young species contribute their innovations for the greater good. This is the way. The Vorthak delegate clicked its mandibles in agreement. Your quantum drives surpass even Council technology. Such advancement in a species barely out of its stellar cradle is unusual, dangerous even. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. They had no idea how dangerous. Ambassador Chen, the ethereal voice of the Ashanti Collective whispered through the chamber. Your silence suggests defiance.
Need we remind you that Earth stands alone?
1 world, 17 colonies. The Council commands 700 systems. The mathematics were simple. The Council expected submission through intimidation. They had done this dance 100 times before with 100 different species, but they had never danced with humanity. Sarah activated her neural implant, sending a coded message across quantum channels to Earth Command. The response came instantly. Proceed with Protocol 7. Honored Council, Sarah began, her voice carrying the weight of 8 billion human souls. Earth acknowledges your request. We ask for 7 days to prepare the technology transfer. Our quantum drives are integrated into critical infrastructure. We need time to prevent catastrophic failures during the extraction process. The Primarch's 6 eyes narrowed. 7 days, no more. Council fleets will maintain position around your colonies to ensure compliance. Sarah bowed, the gesture perfectly calculated to show respect without submission. As she turned to leave, the Vorthak delegate called out, Ambassador, curiosity compels me to ask, how did your species develop quantum technology so quickly? Most civilizations require centuries after achieving faster-than-light travel. Sarah paused at the chamber's threshold. We had excellent teachers, delegate. The universe itself, and the scars it left on our world. The cryptic response lingered in the air as she departed. In the Council chamber, the 7 ruling species exchanged glances of dismissal. Another young race would be brought to heel. Order would be maintained. They did not know that Earth's quantum communications had already reached every human colony. They did not know that beneath the surface of Mars, factories that had been running for 3 years were completing their final production cycles. They did not know that humanity had been preparing for this moment since the day they discovered they were not alone. Admiral Marcus Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, hidden in the shadow of Jupiter's moon Europa. The stealth ship was one of 47 that officially did not exist. His crew of 300 represented the best military minds humanity had produced, drawn from every nation on Earth. Admiral, we're receiving the ambassador's signal, his communications officer reported. Protocol 7 is authorized. Rodriguez nodded slowly. Through the view screen, he could see the Council fleet stationed around Earth. 300 vessels, each one capable of glassing a continent. By every conventional measure, humanity was outnumbered and outgunned. But humanity had never been conventional. Send word to all Ghost Fleet commanders, Rodriguez ordered. 7 days to prepare. On the 7th day, we remind the galaxy why our ancestors were apex predators. His executive officer, Commander Yuki Tanaka, pulled up the tactical displays. Sir, the Council's fleet positions are exactly as our simulations predicted. They're arranged in standard suppression formation. They expect us to cower or attempt to run. What they expect, Rodriguez said quietly, will be their downfall. Humanity spent 65 million years evolving on a world that tried to kill us every single day. We survived ice ages, supervolcanoes, plagues, and each other. The Council thinks 700 systems makes them invincible, but they've forgotten something crucial. What's that, sir? Rodriguez's expression hardened. They've forgotten that before we reached for the stars, we were the monsters other species feared in the dark. And we're about to remind them why. The hidden arsenal deep beneath the Martian surface, Director Elena Vasquez walked through humanity's greatest secret. The production facility stretched for kilometers in every direction, carved from solid rock by machines that worked in perfect silence. Assembly lines that had been running continuously for 3 years were completing their final units. Director, we've reached full production quota, her assistant, Dr. James Park, reported. 15,000 quantum torpedoes, 3,000 fighter drones, and, he paused, still awed by the number, 500 Wraith-class stealth ships. Elena nodded with satisfaction. The moment humanity had detected the first alien signals, they knew this day would come. The galaxy was old, structured, hierarchical, and humanity had studied enough history to know what happened to newcomers who showed up with better technology than the established powers. Begin dispersal protocol, she ordered. Every colony gets its share. Use the quantum tunnels we've prepared. The Council's sensors won't detect anything moving through compressed space-time. On Earth, President Maria Santos convened an emergency session of the United Earth Government. The room was filled with representatives from every nation, their faces showing a mixture of fear and determination. The holographic displays showed Council fleets positioned around every human colony. Ladies and gentlemen, Santos began, in 7 days, the Council expects us to surrender our quantum drive technology. What they don't know is that the drives they've seen are Generation 1. We're currently fielding Generation 4. General Chen Wei of the Combined Earth Forces stood up. Madam President, our war games suggest we can eliminate the Council fleets around our colonies within the first hour of engagement. But that will only be the beginning. The Council will mobilize their entire armada, which is exactly what we're counting on, Santos replied. She activated a holographic map of the galaxy. The Council rules through fear and overwhelming force. They've never faced an opponent that strikes from shadows, that uses their own bureaucracy against them. Every species under their rule secretly resents them. We're going to give them a chance to express that resentment. Dr. Rashid Ahmed, head of the Quantum Sciences Division, added crucial information. We've also completed Project Pandora. If the Council wants our quantum technology, we'll give it to them. Just not in the way they expect. The assembled leaders exchanged knowing looks. Project Pandora was humanity's ultimate contingency. Quantum drives that could be remotely activated to create localized black holes. Every ship the Council captured would become a weapon against them. Sarah Chen, still in transit from the Council chamber, received updates through her neural implant. The alien races thought humanity's neural network technology was primitive compared to their telepathic abilities. They didn't realize that humanity had learned to merge biological and quantum computing in ways the galaxy had never imagined. Ambassador, her AI assistant whispered directly into her consciousness, we're detecting unusual activity in Council communications. They're debating whether 7 days is too generous. Sarah smiled coldly. Let them debate. Every hour they spent in discussion was another hour humanity's forces moved into position. The Council's greatest weakness was their bureaucracy. Decisions required consensus among 7 species. Humanity's chain of command was simple, direct, and already in motion. In the asteroid belt, Captain Lisa Wong commanded Mining Station 7, which was not actually a mining station. The hollowed-out asteroid housed humanity's most ambitious project, the Quantum Gate Network. 37 gates hidden throughout human space, each capable of transporting entire fleets instantaneously across thousands of light-years. Captain, we're receiving confirmation from all gate stations, her operations officer reported. The network is operational. We can move our entire fleet to any point in human space within minutes. Wong studied the tactical displays. The Council fleet was positioned perfectly to blockade humanity's colonies, using conventional faster-than-light travel. They assumed humanity would need weeks to move ships between systems. They assumed wrong. Back on Earth, in a bunker 5 kilometers below Mount Everest, the Strategic Command was fully operational. Thousands of analysts, strategists, and cyber warfare specialists worked in perfect coordination. They had been wargaming this scenario for 3 years, running millions of simulations. Colonel David Mitchell, head of cyber operations, reviewed the latest intelligence. We've successfully infiltrated the Council's communication network. Their encryption is advanced, but it's based on quantum entanglement protocols we solved 18 months ago. His team had discovered something crucial. The Council's network had a fatal flaw. It prioritized messages from the 7 ruling species, creating predictable patterns that could be exploited. When the time came, humanity could flood their communications with false data, creating chaos in their command structure. The transformation on the 4th day, something changed in human space. It was subtle at first, barely noticeable to the Council observers. Human-civilian traffic between colonies decreased. Communication patterns shifted. The Council interpreted this as fear, as preparation for surrender. They were half right. It was preparation, but not for surrender. In her private quarters aboard the diplomatic vessel returning to Earth, Sarah Chen received a priority message from her daughter, stationed with the Mars Defense Force. "Mom, we're ready. Every colony, every ship, every soldier. We know what's at stake." Sarah closed her eyes, feeling the weight of what was coming. The Council had given humanity an impossible choice: slavery or extinction. They didn't understand that humanity had faced impossible choices before. They didn't understand that humans had a third option. Admiral Rodriguez moved his Ghost Fleet into final position, 47 ships, invisible to every sensor the Council possessed, positioned at strategic points throughout the solar system. Each ship carried weapons that violated 3 separate Council treaties humanity had never signed. "All commanders report ready, Admiral," Commander Tanaka announced. "Operation Prometheus is prepared to launch on your command." Prometheus, the titan who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. The mythology was apt. The Council viewed themselves as gods of the galaxy. Humanity was about to steal their fire and turn it against them. On the Council fleet's flagship, Zarathi Primarch Zixatheta reviewed the reports from his observers. The humans are consolidating their resources. They understand the futility of resistance. His second-in-command, however, was troubled. "Primarch, our sensors detect no fear pheromones from the human delegates during negotiations. Their biological readings suggest anticipation. Irrelevant," the Primarch dismissed. "Every species shows defiance before submission. The humans are no different." But Subcommander Vrex had fought in the suppression of 12 species. Something about humanity's response felt wrong. Their colonies were too quiet, their military movements too coordinated, and there was something else, something their sensors couldn't quite identify. Gravitational anomalies that appeared and disappeared too quickly to track. Dr. Elena Vasquez stood in the Mars Command Center, watching as the final pieces moved into position. Every human colony now had a hidden arsenal. Every civilian ship had been retrofitted with military-grade shields and weapons. Every man, woman, and child over the age of 16 had been trained for what was coming. "Director, we're receiving an interesting transmission from the outer colonies," Dr. Park reported. "The mining operations on Titan have discovered something unusual." Elena smiled. Unusual was code. Titan's mining operation had successfully deployed humanity's first von Neumann combat probes. Self-replicating weapons that could convert raw materials into more weapons. They were hidden in the rings of Saturn, dormant, waiting. President Santos addressed Earth's population through quantum-encrypted channels. Her image appeared in every home, every workplace, every military installation across human space. "My fellow humans, in 3 days, the Galactic Council expects us to kneel. They believe their thousands of years of dominance guarantee our submission. They believe that because we are young, we are weak. They believe that because we are few, we are helpless." She paused, letting her words resonate. "They are about to learn that humanity does not kneel. We survived the Black Death, which killed half of Europe. We survived world wars that nearly ended our civilization. We survived the climate crisis that almost destroyed our planet. And we survived because we did something no other species in this galaxy has done. We evolved not despite adversity, but because of it." The speech was being recorded, but it wouldn't be broadcast to the galaxy until the 7th day. When it was, it would be accompanied by something else, proof that humanity was not just another species to be conquered. Commander Yuki Tanaka studied the quantum field readings around the Council fleet. "Admiral, I'm detecting something interesting. The Council ships are generating a specific quantum signature when they communicate. If we could replicate it, we could make our ships appear as theirs on their sensors," Rodriguez finished. "How long to implement?" "Give me 6 hours and I can have the entire Ghost Fleet broadcasting false signatures." Rodriguez approved immediately. Deception was humanity's oldest warfare technique. From the Trojan horse to the D-Day invasion, humans had mastered the art of making enemies see what they expected to see. The calm before on the fifth day, Galactic Council representatives arrived at Earth's orbital station for a preliminary inspection. They wanted to catalog humanity's quantum drive facilities before the transfer. Sarah Chen met them with perfect diplomatic courtesy, guiding them through carefully prepared tours. Sub-Commander Vrex of the Zerathi noticed something odd during the tour. The human quantum drives were impressive, but they seemed almost too accessible, too easy to understand. His species had developed similar technology 3,000 years ago, and theirs was more complex. Ambassador Chen, he asked carefully, these drives seem remarkably straightforward for technology that surpasses our own. Sarah's expression remained neutral. Humanity believes in elegant simplicity, Sub-Commander. Why complicate what can be simple? What Vrex didn't know was that he was looking at decoy technology. The real quantum drives were hidden in pocket dimensions, accessible only through human neural interfaces. The Council was being shown exactly what they expected to see: advanced but conquerable technology. In the shadow of Neptune, Captain Wang's gate network conducted its final test. In less than 3 seconds, a cargo vessel traveled from Earth to the colony at Proxima Centauri and back, a journey that would take the Council's fastest ships several hours. All gates showing green. Captain, her chief engineer reported, we can begin Operation Hermes at your command. You refuse? The Primarch's voice carried genuine bewilderment. You have 300 Council vessels surrounding your worlds. You have 17 colonies against our 700 systems. You refuse? Sarah's neural implant activated, sending the signal across quantum channels. In that instant, every human ship, every weapon, every soldier received the same message. Humanity stands. We refuse, Sarah repeated, her voice stronger now. Moreover, we demand that the Council immediately withdraw all forces from human space. You have 1 hour to comply. The Ashanti Collective's representative rippled with what could only be described as amusement. You demand? Little human, you seem to have misunderstood your position. We are not negotiating. We are taking what is ours by right of superiority. Sarah smiled then, and something in that smile made even the ancient council members pause. Superiority? Let me tell you about superiority. Humanity evolved on a world where everything tried to kill us. We had no natural weapons, no claws, no fangs, no armor. Do you know what we had instead? We had endurance. We had intelligence. And we had the ability to hold a grudge until the stars burned cold. She tapped her datapad, and holographic displays filled the chamber. Images of humanity's hidden fleet, the quantum gate network, the weapons that violated every council treaty. For 3 years you've watched us, and for 3 years we've prepared for this moment. Every colony you're blockading has enough firepower to destroy your fleets 3 times over. Every quantum drive you thought you cataloged was a fake. And right now as we speak, 47 ships you cannot detect are targeting your command vessels. The Primarch stood, his massive frame towering over Sarah. Impossible. Your sensors see what we want them to see, Sarah interrupted. Did you really think a species that went from horse-drawn carriages to landing on our moon in less than 70 years wouldn't have a few tricks up our sleeves? Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the Council fleet. On every ship, sensors detected massive gravitational anomalies appearing and disappearing. The Ghost Fleet had begun revealing themselves just for seconds at a time, at random positions. To the Council, it seemed like hundreds of human ships were appearing and vanishing. Admiral Rodriguez watched the Council fleet's response with satisfaction. They're panicking. Their formations are breaking as individual captains try to respond to threats that appear and disappear. Sir, the tactical officer reported, the quantum gates are active. All colonies report ready to receive reinforcements. Rodriguez nodded. Begin Phase 2. Across human space, the transformation was instantaneous. Mining vessels revealed weapon systems. Cargo ships dropped their camouflage, showing military-grade armor and shields. Civilian stations deployed hidden defense platforms. In 3 minutes, humanity's apparent military force multiplied by a factor of 50. But the real shock came from Project Pandora. Dr. Ahmed activated the first wave. 20 quantum drives that the Council had already loaded onto their ships for inspection suddenly came online. But instead of providing faster-than-light travel, They began creating quantum instabilities. Council vessels, President Santos's voice broadcast across all channels. You have loaded trapped quantum drives onto your ships. We can detonate them at any time, creating miniature black holes that will consume your vessels. This is your only warning. Withdraw from human space immediately. On the Council flagship, Primarch Zixatheta watched in horror as one of his escort vessels suddenly imploded, consumed by a gravitational anomaly that appeared from within. The inferior humans had turned the Council's own greed against them. All ships emergency protocol, he commanded. Jettison all human technology immediately.